Line, the official podcast of Missouri S&T Athletics. Patrick Murphy here with you again. As always, we'll be talking football on the show today and recapping National Signing Day from last Wednesday. But before we do, if you could be a friend, tell a friend, please take a moment to share the show with your friends and family as we continue to try to grow this show and keep telling the awesome stories of Missouri S&T coaches, student athletes, and more. And please be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you may be listening or watching. As always, before we get into the conversation today, we want to recap the week that was in Missouri S&T Athletics, so we'll jump right into that. Winter weather altered the schedule of competition last week as Wednesday and Thursday saw the Midwest get blanketed with several inches of snow and ice. Campus ended up being closed down for 3 days here in Rolla. Several basketball games and across the GOVC were postponed and canceled last week. So the basketball doubleheader originally scheduled for Lindenwood last Thursday was postponed. That's been rescheduled to February 14th in St. Charles. So if you're in the St. Louis metro area and you want to see some Monday evening basketball, be sure to head over to Lindenwood and cheer on the Miners then. Track and field was set to compete at the Missouri Southern Open and Multis in Joplin this weekend, but ended up not being able to make that trip due to travel conditions. They will next be in action this weekend at Pittsburgh State at the Gorilla Invite. Roads were able to get cleared Friday and Saturday, so the Miners were able to make the trip to St. Louis for the regularly scheduled basketball doubleheader against Maryville. And, man, there were two good ones between the Miners and Saints at the Simon Athletic Events Center. In the women's game, Maryville opened up on a 9-0 run, but S&T was able to overcome that slow start and closed to within 3 going into the half before taking the lead midway through the third quarter. The Miners continued to lead that game well into the fourth until the final 2 minutes when Maryville was able to retake the lead and managed to squeak out a 66-63 win. Alex Kerr led the way, posted her fourth double-double of the season, 22 points and 11 rebounds, while Jada Lindesmith scored a season-end career-high 14 points on 5 of 7 shooting and was a perfect 4 of 4 from 3. In the men's game, it was the Dylan Singleton show early and often as the first-year freshman had a career day for the Miners. After a back-and-forth first half that saw Maryville lead 40-37 at the intermission, S&T ended up trailing by as much as 17 in the second half with 13:22 to play, but they mustered a furious rally behind a 15-0 run started by Caden Froby as Julian Smith, Mahamadou Kaba Kamara, Micah Johnson, and Michael Apaya Brafo all contributed in that sequence that saw S&T go back in front 72-71 with 1:45 to play. Ultimately, Maryville was able to come out on top with that. In that contest, they hit the go-ahead basket with 13 seconds remaining. Julian Smith's go-ahead three-point attempt at the buzzer rattled in and out as things came to a close in St. Louis. Singleton set a new career high in scoring in the first half, had 14 points in the first 20 minutes, finished the game with 21 and went 5 of 8 from the field in the game. 5 of 8 from 3 in the game, excuse me. Julian Smith finished with 14 points, while Caden Froby added 12 of his own. On deck this week for basketball, the Miners are back at home starting Thursday evening when they host McKendree, and Saturday against Missouri St. Louis. Saturday is Military Appreciation Day here at Missouri S&T, presented by Realty Executives, Farrell Associates, and Dickey's Barbecue Pit. Also coming up this week, the GOVC Swim and Dive Championships presented by PNC Bank will be held in Elkhart, Indiana, starting Wednesday and running through Saturday of this week, as Doug Groom's team will look to post another strong showing to begin the postseason. Had Coach Grooms and Andy Huffman on the show last week. If you haven't listened to that conversation yet, great way to get geared up for postseason swimming action. Also want to note, since February is Black History Month, all GOVC conference games league-wide during the month of February will hear Lift Every Voice and Sing played prior to the national anthem as part of an initiative from the GOVC Diversity and Inclusion Committee, as the GOVC and all member schools commit to stand as one to show support and recognition for marginalized communities and continue to make efforts to listen, learn, lead, and love. All right, recap and housekeeping's out of the way on this episode. Now we get into today's show. It's going to be a good one. Joining us now to recap National Signing Day last week, he played his collegiate ball at Evangel University and has been been a coach at Midland University and at his alma mater. He arrived at Missouri S&T in 2015 and has served as a D-line coach and defensive coordinator and led the Miners to the top of the GOVC in defense 2 times and helped develop several All-GLVC selections and All-Americans, including Tershawn Wharton, who just completed his second season with the Kansas City Chiefs. In 2019, he was elevated to the position of head coach and just concluded his third season in that role. Please welcome head coach Todd Drury to the program. Todd, thanks for stopping by and taking time out of your morning to chat with us. I know last week was a big week for you in the off season, but how'd you manage the winter weather last week, and how's everything else been going for you?
Yeah, the weather wasn't too bad. You know, we were able to get in here and get to work still. But no, it's been an exciting few days, exciting week. Just you think about National Signing Day, and I think there's a lot of different emotions that go with it, and it is obviously it's a celebration. But I think, and that's an exciting time. People are making a college decision and a 40-year decision and, deciding whether they want to go to college. But I also think it's one of those deals where it's like you're almost celebrating on the front end. It's like, hey, now it's time to get to work, and it's there's a lot of work ahead of us. And as our guys, we're in the weight room today doing, sets of 17 on squat and stuff, it's like, I hope these guys know what they're signing up for. So
yeah, absolutely. Before we get into talking about last Wednesday so far, I just want to quickly touch base how the off season's gone so far this year. What have you seen as far as player development goes, and how much are you looking forward to having getting back to playing spring ball and then getting into the non-championship portion of the season?
Yeah, I just think what we learned last year, playing 2 seasons, playing in the spring and the fall, was just how important off season is. And there's so much that you learn and grow, and having the ability to hit reset and say, hey, let's, we're going to look at this and change that. And last year, it was great because we played so much football, and I think it was the right decision for the boys. I think they deserved to play and wanted to play, and giving them the opportunity just to play the game. We played a lot of football last year, and so that was, from that standpoint, is really exciting. But I think what we did realize was that, hey, off season is important, and the details, the strength and conditioning, the details, just for coaching staff, ability to, look at plays and look at situations and schemes and learn and grow. And so we had a year of playing the game. I don't know if we had a year of developing the game. And so, yeah, so I think, just like anything, it's like, 6 one hand and half dozen the other, right? So like last year, we're like, man, I'm glad, we just want to play. And now I'm in this offseason. I'm like, man, I love the offseason. Like I'm excited to learn and grow. And so I think like the guys are also a product of that. I think they're really excited. Coach Edwards has been a huge addition to the staff and strength and conditioning. What he's doing with the guys right now in the weight room is absolutely awesome. And they're growing. They're becoming tougher. They're physically developing. Speed and flexibility and all those things. And so it's been off to a great start. And I think the guys are really this group in particular. You kind of get a feel for different groups as far as like their personality, how they handle challenges. You get a good feel for that. And this group is very senior heavy, and they, we lost a lot of close games last year.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's going to affect everyone a little bit differently. And so I would say these guys are, they're a little off. Yeah. And so they're, there's an edge about them. And, sure. And so it's a good group, and so they're excited to get to work and to have a great year.
Yeah, no, you mentioned, there's a lot of games that could have gone the other way last season, and I know at the end of the year the record didn't reflect the expectations for the season that had been established in previous years. But you talk about signing day and everything else. You got this new group coming in to help add to that chapter, help push the guys that are already here, and start when they report for fall camp in August, get ready to compete for another season.
Yeah, and I guess that's one awesome thing about just sport, right? College sport or any sport is each year's a new year. You have a new team. You're adding faces. You have guys you're going to miss, and played a huge role for you that are departing. But each year's a new year, and you have the opportunity to start fresh. And I think that's something that's so just exciting about college sport is just the opportunity to, hey, this is a new year. like, here's what we need to adjust. Here's how we need to adapt. Here's how we need to change, and then to be hopefully push ourselves to reaching that potential.
For sure. We'll go ahead and jump into the conversation today, talking about last week. Had 28 newcomers put pen to paper and announce their intentions to come to Rollin next season. It's a pretty diverse group. You got guys coming from 11 different states, 9 different position groups. What's one thing you can say just overall with this new class that's coming in for this fall?
Yeah, so we had 4 players join us mid-year, first of all, that we didn't necessarily highlight in the signing, but we had Sam Simmer was a quarterback from Golden West, Justin Amaro was a linebacker from Butler Community College, Nathan Midkiff was a transfer guy, came in from Missouri Western, and then we had who am I forgetting there? Oh, Alton Robinson, is offensive lineman from Choctaw, Oklahoma, who actually graduated early and is enrolled here currently. So we had 4 guys join us, mid-year, and so those guys will, obviously come in and start competing right away. But then, as you look at this class, I think it's we tried to really address our needs, and we had some key departures last year. Defensive back, quarterbacks, obviously we graduated 2 senior quarterbacks, wide receivers, huge, Josh Brown and Breon obviously leaving. So there's a number of places that we tried to, have specific needs. And so at quarterback, EJ Izar was our first commit. He was an early commit in the summer, and we got him in here in camp, and he had the opportunity to work out for us. And then Tyler Goya as well. Both those guys came in the summer, and we had the opportunity to see him throw and meet him and see him compete. And so obviously with losing 2 senior quarterbacks last year and trying to elevate the play at that position, it was great to have those guys, be committed and locked in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We go and talk about, the importance of the quarterback position at any level. But, they said you graduated, 2 guys, Brendan Sims and
Luke Hertzler.
Yeah, Luke Hertzler again. And then you still got some guys coming back. You got Max Conner coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He saw some time last year. There's a couple other guys that didn't see the field last year, but are still there, going to be competing. How do you think those 3 newcomers are going to be able to kind of add to the quarterback room and kind of push that level of competition and development?
Yeah, I think obviously quarterback, there's such a high level of importance put on that position, but I do think that when you look back at the history of quarterbacks, it's very hard to be an immediate impact player at quarterback. And so just starting, back with Max, Max has been in the system for a couple of years now, but we still have very high expectations for Max. I think he's still developing and growing as a player. We saw he play William Jewell last year and throw 5 touchdowns. He's a talent with his legs as well. And so we're definitely excited to see, the direction that Max goes. And then from working our way back down with the other freshman quarterbacks that we had this year with Brody and Colton, and then working into this class with Sam and then the 2 high school kids with EJ and Tyler. I think just getting them in the room and then allowing them to grow and play. I think it's at quarterback it's hard when you start penciling guys into this class and this class and this year and this, and so we're just gonna give guys the opportunity to come in and compete and learn the offense, and we're gonna try to get the best 11 on the field. And but obviously priority is operating the offense, leading with command, getting making sure that we are we're carrying the load at quarterback. Quarterback's such a leadership driven position where you can't just go out there and kind of sort through it. You have to be a leader, and you have to be pushing the offense to success, and that starts in practice. And so with all the arms we're adding, I think I'm just excited to see who emerges as the leader, as the guys who's going to operate the offense efficiently and ultimately take care of the football.
Yeah, ball security and efficiency. That's the name of the game when you're at that quarterback position. Staying on the offensive side of the ball, a couple more additions we want to talk about. Brendan Anderson, running back from Florida, Justice Braden, big tight end.
Yeah.
Talk about those 2 and what they'll be able to bring to the table with their respective position groups.
Yeah, running back and tight end, these are a couple guys who are very talented players in high school, and we're lucky to have them. Those are 2 positions I wouldn't say of like we have a lot of depth at those positions, and so our program, we're about recruiting high school student athletes and developing that, and so that's never a negative thing that there's depth at a position. So those guys are both going to come in and compete in pretty deep rooms, and but they're definitely very talented players. Justice, just heck of a ball player, and Brennan as well. And so these guys coming in and having the opportunity to learn from some guys in front of them, and really really get here and develop and grow. We're excited about that.
You already mentioned the departure of Breon and Josh, the wide receiver position, and you got a couple more guys coming in there, kind of rebuild some depth. You got C.J. Johnson coming in, this JUCO transfer, bringing some collegiate experience with him. But you also got Bryson Burns and Isaac Pollard as well. As far as the outlook for the wide receiver group goes, what's that looking like this year?
Yeah, we're excited about CJ as being a transfer. He played for Coach Tom Minnick out at Garden City, and Tom was actually quarterback here, and back in the day. So he's he from college to DePage transfer himself. So excited to keep that pipeline going. But he's a big target. He's played in one of the best conferences in junior college football, and we'll see when he gets here what he can do. We're excited to bring him in and have him compete. Bryson and Isaac, Bryson's played at Davidson Academy, great high school program down in Tennessee, and Isaac's a very good player. So we're beginning the rebuild of the receivers positions. Make sure we have enough bodies and talent and depth. We run the run and shoot offense, right? And so receivers, you got to have speed, and those guys are all great players, and really excited about that. I think we have a couple more additions coming to that room as well that we can visit on later. But that's they're a great start to it, and we're excited to get those guys on campus.
Yeah, no, excited to see CJ though. There's a big body kid, 6'4", 203, really going to probably be a problem for the DBs. Bryson, another guy who's kind of a long 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
So excited to definitely see what they'll be able to do when they set foot on campus. Getting into the trenches, there's 6 O-linemen in this class. Definitely some large humans in that group. Was there kind of a particular focus on adding a little bit of depth up front with this recruiting class this year? Was there, just more of a need up front this year?
Well, we graduated 3 interior O-linemen, and so with the departure of Kyle Urich, Nino Schmidt, and then also Josh Thornton, our interior O-line is definitely one that we got to take care of. Thankfully, we returned both tackles with George Escalante and Jake Seidel, both 11-game starters for us there. So those guys, so the interior O-line it was definitely an emphasis in making sure that we have, and so with starting off mid-year, bringing in Alton Robinson, played center at Choctaw, great program in Oklahoma. And so he's, they call him Big Country, and they don't call him that for no reason. Sometimes you get nicknames like Tiny, or because you're huge, or Big because you're small, but they call him Big Country, and he is big. So we're excited about Alton coming in, and he's in the weight room with us right now. And so, and then but I think our pattern here has been with our tackles is to try to find longer, leaner guys that we can grow up and develop at tackle, and then on the interior, strong physical guys, and so. You can see that in this class, with the guys that we have, at the tackle position, with the Mahonies and the Englands, and those guys, but then on the inside with Elon, Ben, and Curtis, those guys are so physical and strong, and you can really see them how they would fit well into our scheme. So, I would say there was a plan for sure to bolster, particularly the interior. And then we have time for guys to develop, at tackle.
Yeah, no, you're talking about guys who getting nicknames and stuff. I know I've talked with John about this when I was back at Jacksonville last year, looking through all the signing day stuff. I think I got a belt when I saw Tyke Wells signed, and I was like, it's a great name for an offensive lineman. Get it pulled up here real quick with Tykes. Yeah, big 6'1", 277. It's not necessarily a name that fits somebody that size, but it's still kind of a funny little
Tyke's one of a kind, man. He's one of a kind. Yeah. Have you visited with him?
We haven't had a chance to.
Okay, I'll get you linked up. Yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Moving to the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Brought in a couple guys on that side. 4 D linemen. Some more big fellas. Demarion Young really stands out.
Yeah.
Out of that group, big 6'3", 305 product out of Ypsilanti, Michigan. you're a D you're a D coordinator, D line coach. So I don't do you take a little bit more a little bit more focus and interest in trying to help build that defensive front because that's your first line on that side of the ball. So we're just kind of what are you looking for when you're continuing to bring guys in to bolster that group and continue to develop that group and have them maintain the high level they've been playing at.
Well, when I think you look at the GLBC conference, kind of landscape of the league, this is definitely a upfront physical type league. At one point last year we had two of the nation's leading rushers, 1-2 or 2-1, with Truman State and University of Indianapolis, and so those are two teams that are always at the top of the league. They're committed to running the football, and I think stopping the run definitely starts up front with your defensive line. And so, on both sides of the ball, we try to put an emphasis on line play, defensive and offensive line, and being talented at those two positions. And from there, you can always work your way back, and those things give you options. But if you're poor on the lines, then you're going to struggle, across the board. So and for us, the interior, we play a 3 down front, so the nose position's very very important for us. And so, both Demarion and then Nathan Carter plays, interior as well, and so those guys are. We're excited about them getting in here. Nathan's more of an explosive slasher type nose, and Demarion's obviously a bigger plugger, kind of like Big Joe or Big Matt. But and then Rasmussen, John, great player out of Texas, and then Mayer was he was actually played offensive line at CBC High School, and we're transitioning him over to defensive line here. So those guys, it's a good group, and only graduated one defensive lineman last year, and so we return 8 out of 11 on defense. And so it's a group that we're excited about developing and growing and getting here and getting going.
I know Nino was excited to see another CBC guy.
Yeah,
making his way down to Rolla. You got working our way back from the defensive line. You got four new linebackers coming in.
Yep.
And there's been a string of great ones in recent years. Most recently, Ben Stratman this year. What is it about this incoming group that excites you, and what are they going to be able to bring to the linebacker room this year? Yeah,
we're excited about these guys at linebacker. Linebackers are kind of the heart and soul. Like they always love being at practice. They always love being physical. They always love hitting. They always love lifting and squatting, and it's kind of we have a bunch of great linebackers on the roster, and we're excited to add to that group. But they're kind of like your
quarterbacks of the defense, right?
Yeah, but they're not prima donnas at all. There's never any drama at linebacker. They just want to play.
Big lunch pail, hard hat.
Yeah. So these guys are always fun because it's just pretty. They just love everything about ball. So, but no, it's a good group. With Andrew Nicholson, Northwest kid, big physical interior guy, and then Cale Horton's actually a linebacker from San Diego, played 8-man, so more of an athlete type. Play outside for us, and then Seneca Bradley, man, he's a gem, and we're excited about getting him here and seeing what he can do off the edge. So,
how different is that kind of watching like 8-man football from like a recruiting standpoint and everything else? Like, is that more of a thing kind of out on the West Coast or?
Well, yeah, it's a thing everywhere. I mean, we have a lot of 8-man football in Missouri, so we have a number of guys that played 8-man that are on the roster now. You're definitely not evaluating the scheme. You're just evaluating the player. Can they run? Can they hit? Can they block? Can they tackle? Just from a fundamental standpoint, you're not evaluating the level of play or any of those things. You're really just trying to see, hey, is this guy, athletically, is he going to fit in, and then does he have the physical tools to do what we're asking him to do?
Yeah, that's interesting. I knew, obviously I'm not super familiar with that, coming with 8-man coming from where I'm from, so it's kind of interesting just to hear, how different that is, 8-man versus 11-man and everything. Moving into the secondary, you got four DBs coming in, a couple of corners, a couple safeties. That's been another really good group in recent years. Had Cam Clemens and Justin Onbefore back there recently.
Yep.
It's just a couple of those great guys. Bo Brooks was another one. I know he dabbled a little bit in linebacker while he was here too.
Yeah.
How's that new incoming group in the secondary gonna fit in and kind of keep that that ball hawking secondary at the level that it is?
Yeah, we're on the back end. You're looking for guys that can play in space and can cover and And so I think each one of these guys brings something a little bit different to the table. With I think you might have had Peyton Webster, outside linebacker, but Peyton Webster and Corey Reed are both the more down safeties, box type safeties, play the linebacker type ish roles in the run fits and those things. Those guys are, really good tacklers. And then Hudson plays corner. Then Parnell and Mountcastle, those guys, they're definitely very good, safeties. So yeah, there's a good mix here. A couple of these guys are really physically strong and developed and ready to go, and so we're excited to get them plugged into the back end and allow them to do what they do best. And so, but again, it's a group that you're looking at athleticism and coverability and those things, and we're excited to get those guys out there.
We're just finishing out on the defensive side. We'll move to the special teams group this year. No kickers in this year's class, but you did bring in 2 new long snappers. And as Pat McAfee always loves to say, long snappers are some of the most underappreciated guys on the field. They're the anchor of your special teams unit, because they're the ones who initiate all that action. What can you tell us about Nick McLeod and Graham Carter? And what they're going to bring.
Both those guys. Long snapper is a position of high need for us this year. We had a number of injuries and different situations where we struggled at that spot last year, and so it was definitely a position of high need, and so to have 2 guys that can come in and compete for the starting job, and it's not physically the easiest job to do, but from a standpoint of like the most carryover from high school to college, it's the easiest position to go in and start at, right? And so we're definitely have a role there for maybe one of these guys to play really early, and so these guys are going to get in here and compete. But yeah, both of them came from great programs at Jackson and Liberty North, and they've had great careers and we're very talented snapping the ball, and so we're excited to have these guys on board and get them here.
What can you say about the work that your staff was able to do? I know hitting the recruiting trail, working to put that big board together, and just everything that they did and their effort to go and put this class together and put these classes together year in and year out.
Yeah, the staff has done an awesome job. Recruiting, it's kind of interesting because I don't ever feel like it's not even a cycle. I mean, it is a cycle because it really never ends. It's just like we're already on to, we set our junior day today, and, we still have a couple of pieces we're looking for in this class. And so, it just never really stops. You're just kind of always going. It's every meeting we talk about recruiting, and where it's at. And so, the staff did a great job just really, going all over the nation, and finding the right thing. And I think the thing about S&T that makes it special is just the fit, right? We're looking for a specific type of guy that loves football and is passionate about the game and plays it the right way, and then also somebody that is can academically fit in here and wants what we have. And so I think the thing about S&T that's great is that we have a specific fit and we can recruit to that fit, but that also means that there's a number of guys we don't take and we don't recruit, even though they athletically might fit, but or maybe they academically fit or we're looking for the total package. And so I think the coaching staff just does a great job of IDing those guys, getting on them early, and then hopefully getting them here all the way through sign day.
I know I always ask this question to other coaches whenever they come on, but like, what is it about S&T that just makes it as special as it is to be a student athlete here?
Yeah, I think it's just you can't do this everywhere, right? You can't go everywhere and study STEM or engineering or and do what we have here. And so I think the blend of athletics and then they really, to me, what makes S&T special, the different majors and those things, but it's really the opportunities you get post graduate. Like when you leave here, the opportunities you have, or it's so much different than going to a normal liberal arts school. And so I think that's what we're really selling is just, hey, this is a life-changing type of place where you have options and opportunities to choose where you live, what type of job structure, all these different things. You're not really rolling the dice in terms of, hey, I don't know what my pay is going to be when I graduate college or what my field's going to be. Like when you leave here, like I'm going to have a job and I'm gonna have opportunities, and I'm gonna be able to provide for my family for the rest of their life. And so I think when you pair that with already college athletics, it's a sweet spot. And we talk a lot about in sport, you talk about delayed gratification and putting in the work and going through the process and all these different things, right? And I think that the guys that we recruit here, they identify those same things in their academics. They say, hey, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to put in the work academically, I'm going to put in the work football wise, and then from there I'm going to create a life that other people's dream of.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely a special place to be at and a special place to study at. We got we mentioned getting set for the rest of your life. The second career fair of the year is coming up here in the next couple weeks. That's always a big event. 2 times a year, one in the fall, one in the spring, and you always see plenty of alumni come back and to recruit for the companies they're working for, and then obviously keep in touch with alums and seeing where they're going. I know I've seen football guys going and they get their petroleum degree and then they go work on an oil rig over in the Persian Gulf somewhere.
Yeah.
They go up to the oil fields in Alaska, or there's so many opportunities to do so many great things in so many great places with a degree from here.
Oh yeah, it's so unique, and I think and so those are the guys we're trying to recruit here and to get to come here and play for us. And there's a bunch of these guys on this list that are searching after the same thing. And so I think that's what makes this place special. And so we're excited and thankful to be able to coach them and spend every day with such high achieving guys.
Absolutely. Real quick thing, just want to talk with you about Tershawn Wharton.
Yeah.
I know obviously the Chiefs' season didn't end the way they had envisioned it in the AFC Championship game against the Bengals. How much are you able to keep in touch with Turk and talk with him, and what's that like as a head coach, being able to say, hey, we've got a guy that came in, he developed here, now he's playing in the NFL and he's seeing a lot of time there.
Yeah. Well, it's just no surprise, to any of us that were here while he was here and that recruited or coached him. I mean, he is such a, he's just everything you want in terms of a player and a person and a leader and how he approaches the game. He's really professional, and that that didn't just happen when he got to the NFL. He was that guy, his whole time here. And so yeah, I mean, as he has success, we're all just so happy. Obviously we don't keep in touch, a ton over the course of the season with our season and his season and those things. But yeah, whenever we have the opportunity to get together and talk, it's always pretty special. Just that bond that we had, with him being here and then now what he's doing, obviously at the Chiefs. And so we're so happy for him, and so proud of him. All he's done and represent the school and and us and his family and all that. So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal.
Oh, absolutely. We'll go ahead and kind of start wrapping this one up. I know your shoe game's always on point. You got a really, really good looking pair. Was it Air Force Ones? Those are highs or mids?
No, these are Jordans, Gore-Tex ones.
I got you. How many pairs of Jordans do you own?
I don't know, a couple.
And what pair is your favorite one?
Oh man, I love ones. That's that's why. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. I just walked over here in the snow, so hopefully they're not. But no. So yeah, I like Jordans. I grew up on Jordans and Air Forces. It's funny. One of my college buddies sent me a picture this morning. It was me and my roommate from college, a bunch of our friends and stuff, and and it was I used to wear earrings and and we had some Dickie shorts on and some Air Force Ones that are custom painted, the whole deal. And shoes have always been a big part of my life, and so yeah, I like Jordans and ones are probably my favorite. I like 4s and 6s as well. 11 lows.
If there was one pair you could own, but like you don't currently own, what would they be?
I don't have any 11 lows, so yeah. Any color or whatever.
Color?
Yeah, man, all of them. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks for taking time out of your day to come by and chat with us, talk about this year's signing class. I know we're excited to see them take the field. I know you and the rest of the staff are just as excited, if not more so, to you obviously got some guys here that are getting ready to go, and then when the rest of them all arrive in the fall for fall camp, start putting in that work and get ready for the 2022 season. So thanks again for stopping by, and hopefully you can find all the dry spots on your walk back over to the office.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me over.
That's Todd Drury, head football coach here at Missouri S&T. That'll go ahead and do it for this episode of Inside the Mind. If you haven't already, please be a friend, tell a friend. Be sure to subscribe to the show and follow along wherever you may be listening and watching so that you don't miss more of these awesome conversations that we continue to have week in and week out. Again, Missouri S&T basketball back at home this week, Thursday and Saturday against McKendree and Missouri St. Louis. Please be sure to come out to Gibson Arena, cheer on the Miners. Those games Thursday at 5:30 and 7:30, Saturday at 1 and 3. So, again, thank you all for taking time out of your day so much. We really appreciate it. It's because of you that we're able to do what we do and continue to grow this show, and we've got the numbers to prove that. As always, thank you all again so much for watching. Cheers, and go Miners.